Hello, students. I don't have the camera on me. I have it on our project. This is for the second class. We're going to be doing the Dolphin. This is the finished project, but I was going to help you learn what we call a wash over the whole thing, and then this is called a scumble effect that we're going to be doing. And you guys are going to be doing two different colors. There's going to be a horizon line where the sea meets the sky, and we're going to be doing that here on this class set. These are the other colors that the other two classes are doing, the turquoise and the purple, this kind of a greenish color, and the purple for the panda and the flamingo. You guys are going to be doing the dolphin. And we're going to be, I had some of this turquoise color, but not very much. So I'm going to do a mix of colors. I put my colors out here on the palette so that you can see, if you don't have a turquoise paint at home, you can see kind of how to mix that. Now, with all of these scumble effects, you're going to want to mix up at least 3 colors. 3 different values of colors. That's why the color mixing classes that we did the last week that we were together was so important, so that you could learn kind of how to do the mixing. Just try to remember those lessons. But you're going to want, you can see in here, there's a lot of different blues. There's kind of a medium blue, and then a little bit darker blue in here, and then there's a really light blue or some white that's added in. I put a little bit of pink in the sky just to kind of give it a little bit of color. And the same thing with the turquoise. I tried to use 3 different values of the same color. The blues, I used a little bit different colors. The turquoise is the same color, but different depths or different values. So I'm going to put that aside, and I'm going to go on to this palette. These canvases are already gessoed and ready to go. They're already prepped for you to paint on. But we're going to start with our larger brush that I sent, that either you had, or if you borrowed some of mine. Take care of my brushes, please. Those are for our classes, for future classes that we're going to be doing. But what I'm going to do first is I'm going to very lightly, with a pencil, I'm going to find my horizon. Now, I might just use my brush here as I don't want to be right in the middle, because that would be too symmetrical. It would look too, I don't know, it just wouldn't look as good, I think. So I'm going to find the middle and then come down a bit, okay? So let's see. I'm going to do it right here at this part of my brush and the top, and make a little mark, and then do that in the middle very lightly. Remember, when we sketch, we're going to sketch very lightly, and very lightly I'm just going to do a line across there, okay? Very lightly. Keep your pencil lines light. This can be our sea or our ocean, and this can be our sky. So basically, when we're going to do our mix of colors, turquoise has a green, I'm going to pull that up on here. It has a greenish kind of look, but it has some blue in it too. So what I'm going to do is, first, I didn't have a green out, and I just wanted to show you guys how to mix a green. As you know, blue and yellow. And I'm going to mix my yellow into my blue a little at a time. Okay. And I'm going to mix that to get a turquoise. I'm going to make a green first, okay? It's kind of more of a blue green, not a yellow green, but a blue green. And to kind of change that color a little bit, I'm going to add a little pink. And I think that that will help make it a little bit more turquoise looking. Okay. And I'm going to add, now when I get my turquoise, my greenish turquoise look, this can be my dark turquoise. And then what I can do is bring out here, bring some over here, and some of you borrowed palette knives from me, and I'm going to pick up a little bit of white to make a light turquoise here. Okay. Now, to me, it looks a little green, but I think that's fine. You could come in here and pull in a little bit of blue to this darker color to make it a little bit different color, a little bit bluer. I maybe added more yellow, but it doesn't really matter. You can do any colors that you want. If you have a tube of turquoise at home, you can just use your turquoise paint that you could possibly have at home. If yours winds up a little bit greener, it's going to be pretty, trust me. I have faith in it, okay? These are kind of whimsical. Most dolphins don't have purple on them, but these are kind of whimsical animals. We're kind of getting a fun feel to them, different colors. So here's my darker value of turquoise, my lighter greenish turquoise, and then the white. So the first thing we're gonna do, and this is way plenty paint. I didn't really need that much. But the first thing I'm gonna do is get my water. I'm gonna just dip my brush in my water. And a lot of times when I dip my brush in, I'll show you, I'll dip my brush in my water and then I just lay it on my towel to get rid of some excess. But when we're gonna be doing what's called a wash, when you wash your hair, you put your water in your hair first. So we're going to come across here and we're gonna get some water and we're gonna get the medium color turquoise. And I'm going to water it down like a watery color here, okay? And I'm gonna come across here and get my horizon. I'm gonna lay that in. And this is what we're going to do. We're just gonna kind of wash that color, and it's gonna be kind of runny. That line doesn't have to be perfect. You don't want it. And I'm going to put it on here in a crisscross pattern just to get that covered. I'm gonna go very quickly. You don't have to go as quickly as I do, but again, it's wet. You want it to stay wet as you add that color. Ooh, I like that. I really like that green. I think that looks cool. Okay, and then I'm gonna come across and on these edges of this, I'm gonna just pick this up and just very carefully go along the edge. Okay, I'm not spending a ton of time. I'm just getting some color on there. And I'm doing it on the sides as well. I don't know if you can see. There we go. I've got to keep checking the camera. I'm doing the sides as well. And I'm just getting some color on the edges because you want to finish that, okay? And as that is very wet, I'm going to let that dry a bit, and I'm going to go and I'm going to go ahead. At home, what I would do if I were you guys, let this dry and then do the next step, which I'll show you in a minute. But because I'm not wanting this video to be way too long, I'm gonna go ahead and address the sky. So I'm gonna turn this around and let that dry. And the reason I say at home to let it dry and then do the deep color, like finish all of the sea and then, or the ocean, and then go to all of the sky, is just so that because of your palette, you've already got this mixed and you don't want it to dry out. I can move very quickly because I've done this before, but you would do this, let it dry just a little bit, and then come in and do, you know what, I'm just gonna do it. It's gonna dry quick enough. I don't wanna confuse you guys, so sorry about that, okay? This time I'm not putting water in my brush. I'm just laying it on my towel and getting the excess water out. If you have a blow dryer, you could blow that just a little bit, or even a fan at home. But basically, I'm gonna come in here next and I'm gonna pick up some of my dark turquoisey green. And this time, I'm just gonna come in here and I'm doing crosses. Now, it's kind of like when you wash out your brush, you're gonna go 1, 2, kind of in an X pattern. And you don't want to cover everything. See these little places that are showing through, these little spaces? You want that. We're trying to get a bunch of different colors on here, a bunch of different values, okay? So I'm going to come in here and get my paint and just go cross hatchet back and forth for interest to give it some texture, okay? And what's my rule? You got to know when to stop. Look how much I did. I did not keep doing the whole thing, okay? I made sure that some of this light green was showing through. So that's what you need to do. Then the next thing you're gonna do is pick up some white, okay? And I didn't clean out my brush. I didn't want it wet. A little bit of the turquoise is still in there, and that's fine. A little bit of the green is still in there, and that's fine. I'm gonna come in here and cross over, and I'm just gonna do a few crosses here and there, okay? What we're doing, do you see? Don't get carried away and do too much. Just like y'all drawing too dark, this is the thing. This is the mistake that's made. Don't do too much crossing, okay? So there's your white color. I'm not gonna do too much. There's a little bit of paint still left in my brush. I'm gonna get my paper towel and dry, just kind of get that excess paint off. I'm not gonna put water back in my brush and clean it. Then I'm gonna come in here with that first color, okay? I'm gonna load a little bit in my brush and just cross hatch and see how it's blending. But you don't want it too blended, okay? You want it to be interesting. So I'm just kind of blending out again. I still want some of that dark green to show. Now look, to me, I need a little bit more of that dark green. So I'm gonna pick up a little bit more of it and add a little bit more of that dark green here and there, okay? So do you see what I'm doing? You're working on the paint is wet. It's wet on wet acrylic painting, okay, is what we're doing. We're gonna add a little bit of dark over there. Can you see that? And I'm done, okay? I'm not going to overwork this design. Now I'm going to clean out my brush. I'm gonna turn this around very carefully, okay? And I'm going to leave that alone there. I'm rinsing out my brush really good, getting the excess water out, and then I'm going to do this blue color, okay, guys? So I've got my palette here. Now I want to get a little bit of this light blue. Okay, again, there's my dark blue. There's my dark blue, there's my medium blue, and then I'm gonna have the white to make it the lighter blue, okay? This is actually a little bit what I'm gonna do. I don't know what color blues you have, but I'm going to add a little bit of this to this, just to make it a little bit more of the same color, but just this a little bit darker. There you go. See how that changed that a little bit? That's, you know, probably not even that necessary. But, okay, what I'm going to do is, what color am I going to start with? The lightest, the darkest, or the medium color? You're going to start with the medium color, okay? So I'm going to water this down. I'm going to water this down. Okay, get it really wet. Now, can you see how wet it is? It would drip if I held it out. Do you see when I move the paint on the plate, you can see the plate underneath? You want it that watery, okay? Then I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna get my horizon line. I'm gonna match that like that. Because I want, if that blends a little bit there, that's fine. And then I'm gonna bring it down like this. And I'm going to cross hatch that color everywhere, okay? And I want it to be thin, okay? I'm just gonna get it covered and then I can go back. You can tell I'm covering. Now look, I did not water up enough paint. So I'm getting more water on my brush. Your palette is just as important, if not more so, than what your canvas looks like. I'm watering that down and I'm getting it all covered. I'm just covering the white, okay? Don't worry about the cross hatching yet. Let's get this covered. This is a bigger area. Watering that down. I'm getting that covered. Oh, and I forgot to tell this on this video, I usually put down a canvas, a drop cloth, or sometimes I open a black trash bag. I cut it open where it's bigger and I put that down so that I can keep my table nice and neat. I'm gonna go quickly and cover these sides of this canvas, okay? I'm going to do that. You can take more time doing it, but I'm going to do it quickly because of the video. Okay, so now I've got paint everywhere and it's wet. See how wet it is, guys? It's very wet. So now I'm going to come in here and just kind of cross hatch just so that it has a good look about it. I'm going to cross hatch that sky, okay? And I turn the sky closer to where I'm working instead of reaching way up here, okay? My camera holder, my phone holder is not very, it keeps sinking on me. So that's that. So then the next thing I'm going to do, what do you think I'm going to do? I'm going to get the dark color. I did not wash out my brush. I did not put more paint in it. I kept the paint in there, and I'm just going to pick up some of the darker color, and while it's wet, I'm going to cross hatch some dark color in here. Okay, this is called scumbling. I'm just going to cross hatch back and forth, scumble, 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 some of the dark color. Now, you can tell I got the color that I mixed right here. Okay. Okay. Now, I left some showing through. Don't overwork your design. Now I'm going to come in here and pick up some white. And if a little bit of it mixes with that, that's fine. I'm going to come in here. I got some green in there too. Okay, I'm going to come in here and cross hatch some white in here. Do you see how I'm doing that? Okay, and I'm just going to kind of cross it. I still want all of my colors to show. I don't want to mix it too good. This is a scumble design and gives it a little bit of whimsy and makes it a little really fun. Okay, so I don't want to do too much. You just work it, and remember, what's the rule? Know when to stop, okay? Know when to stop, okay? So now, I don't have any more of that first color, because I think that looks pretty good. I may add a little bit more of that first color on top to make it a little bit right here, this first color. I'm just going to get a little bit of it on my brush, okay? And then I'm just going to come in here on some of the white pieces and just give it a little bit more blended, okay? But I still want that dark blue showing through. I don't want to cover it up because I like that. And so I'm just... Now, I'm not pushing, I'm not hitting my canvas real hard. I'm doing it just very gentle. Oh, I like that. Now, one thing that I haven't done is I said in the sky, I'm going to go ahead and turn this around now. But I said on this sky, remember how I put a little bit of pink up here in the sky? I think I'm going to do that on this one too. So what I'm going to do, don't get too much. I'm going to get a tiny bit of red, okay? A little bit of, it kind of makes it purpley. A little bit of red, and I'm just going to very carefully up here add some red, okay? And do a little bit, little tiny hatch marks, crisscrosses, okay? You can see I just mixed that. I just think that adds some whimsy and another little bit of a color to there. Okay, so that's what I'm doing. Okay, have your I'm not there, so listen to your parents. Let them help you. If they have a suggestion, you need to listen to them, okay? They know what we're doing here too. Okay, so there is your canvas for the dolphin. It is ready for us to be, for the next lesson, we will be drawing the dolphin on. So do not draw, because I have a trick of how to do it. You want to let this dry really good and put it somewhere where you don't poke a hole in it. This canvas gets poked very easily. So There is your canvas ready for the dolphin. We will see you next time. Bye-bye.